All right, so I'm browsing the internet and I came across this guy named Gary who's got guitars besides me, a different Gary. So naturally I was drawn to his channel. So I also noticed that he had a shit ton of subscribers and he gets a lot of views on his videos, and he had some things to say about selling used gear, and that's something that I'm interested in because I've got a lot of guitars. My plan isn't to sell my guitars. My plan is to keep my guitars until I retire and then sell them in like 20 years when they're worth a heck of a lot more than they are now. But if I were to sell a guitar, this seems to me, right now especially, to be the worst time maybe ever. It's the worst time in the last 4 years for sure to sell because everything's really cheap right now. Because people are poor, people need money. The general public is more poor than ever. That's been my. It's just something I've noticed looking around, shopping for stuff. So I just wanted to see what Gary from Gary's Guitars had to say about the subject, and this is kind of like the full Gary inception. Gary watching Gary talking about guitars. Okay, we've come full circle. Okay, what do you have to say, Gary?
Um, we all know there was a pandemic recently. We all know that guitar stocks were way down. Guitar demand went up. Guitar stocks went down. Stocks, as in like on the shelves. Manufacturers couldn't manufacture them fast enough. Distributors couldn't get them in stock. Um, there was a time when in this store we like to be like
Well, to be fair, right when the pandemic started, you could find guitars really cheap, uh, because people needed money.
half and half new and used guitars. And there was a time in this store when we had two used guitars in the whole store. People, you give a musician $1,000, and they're just going to go out and buy a guitar. So, so there was this big demand for guitars during the pandemic, and people were taking the guitar back up
There was a big demand because people had little to do.
again. People getting the guitars fixed, which was good for us because we're a repair shop as well. It was good times. It was tough for me trying to sell like the latest Fender gear because Fender would be out of stock on everything. You know, they would just send me this list of here's the things we're in stock of. Buy one right now. Our sales guy would be like, if you want a Strat, get one right now because we got a few extras, and that would be it. Oh, how times would change. So Fender, especially, most notably, is overstocked, especially on their Asian-made stuff, because that was in a deficit for a while. Then they over-ordered it.
Okay, let's talk about being overstocked for a second. PRS, Silver Sky SE, just a little overstocked.
Everyone thought this guitar boom would just keep booming forever, and it didn't. So there's that. Then there's, because people kind of got used to reselling their own gear on Reverb and eBay and that kind of, or Facebook Marketplace or whatever. The idea is you could buy, if you got a deal on something, you could probably sell it for the same money you bought it for, and you would get to try it and see if you liked it and then move it on. Those markets have also swelled. And there's going to be a reduction there. And we see the knock-on effect of that of people bringing in things that they had previously listed on Reverb and weren't getting, their price for, asking if they could sell it to the store or consign it at the store. I got a whole other video I'm going to make about what is a consignment, what is a sale, and why those ratios different and all that. But suffice to say, people want to get their money back. Because what else, when you go to the car dealer and you go to trade in a car, and here's a car you spent $30,000 on, and you trade it in for $3,000.
Okay, well, if you're buying new guitars and you're not buying used, I can't help you because I think you'd be really dumb to buy something new in the first place. So
Everyone's like, oh, well, it's an old car. What do I do? But guitars, everyone expects to keep their money or do better in the future, which was great when that was the case, and it often is the
if you buy a used guitar, that should be the case.
case. But this is why I say it's a non-vintage guitar problem, because the market got flooded in the pandemic time with the maximum amount of production. And we also see this with companies like Fender and other, Fender specialty brands, which is distributes Gretsch and Jackson and a few other things like that, lowering prices. The prices were going up in the pandemic, so the only thing prices are going down on are guitars. You go try to buy some tomatoes, and you're out of luck. But guitar prices on used stuff and running sales and kind of things that hurt the store a little bit because they're kind of running backdoor sales. Or
this is true. Prices just have been dropping and dropping and dropping on guitar prices.
That's probably in another video too. What the manufacturers and distributors do to they set this is the street price. This is the minimum advertised price, and this is what you can sell it for. But then there's but you can sneak in this because this is a custom color, and you can this is something for you. And I'm losing track of the main point here. Then, so the guitar apocalypse. We're gonna have so every day a couple people walk in the store.
I don't think this is scary, to be fair.
And they're not very happy when I tell them, like, every day several people come in selling guitars. Guitars are not. I know you bought this guitar when it was difficult to find, or the price was high on it. But it's not. It's not that time right now, and it's not the time when I want to stock up on used gear, which I would do. Previously, I was doing that. I was like, yeah, better, used guitar, better buy it, put it in storage, because we're gonna run out of used guitars. It's just there's a lot of used guitars in the air, and so people come in and they want.
This is true. I noticed on Guitar Center, used website, there's more guitars in the used than ever before.
Want to, and they're not often trading these instruments. They want to sell them or consign them. And the reason why this is also is there's a rumor that the economy is bad, and even if someone's personal economy isn't that bad, they just think, like.
This is actually a really good time to buy a guitar. To be fair, if you have some extra money, it's a buyer's world out there right now.
Maybe I shouldn't have 4 extra guitars. And they go to sell their 4th guitar.
To be fair, also, guitars are part of my investment, and if you were to put everything into like crypto or something like that, I'd be even more nervous. I think it's better actually to have assets and to have some savings.
But there's also an unreasonable expectation, and this is contributing to that factor, an unreasonable expectation of what things should sell for. Because everyone was buying something in the pandemic time, you were buying something and just reselling for whatever you bought it for. But now that we have a contracting market, those prices are going to fall, and then us as a reseller, we're going to pay less for that based on that lower price. And what you see happening, and I think you'll see happening right now on Reverb and eBay, is since there's like no real cost in like leaving something up there forever, people will put good money on something and just leave it there, and if they're like, well, someone buys it, they buy it. If they don't, they don't, and it leads to this kind of cost inflation, like sticker inflation, I'll call it. Because
I'm guilty of that. I've got a guitar on there that I'm not going to get what I want for it on there, but if someone wants to pay it, they can do that. But it's not a good time to sell right now.
The other thing is someone comes in with let's say an Epiphone Les Paul, and they say these things are going for $700 on eBay or Reverb. That's not what they're going for. That's what people are asking for them. They're going for something. So to get the going for price, you either have to do do the market research part, check completed listings, or look at Reverb does give nice market research on some things. But you can always check completed listings and find out what the real street price on something is. And those prices are reducing. Also figuring into this used guitar apocalypse, everyone wants small amps. It's nuts. The only amps we're selling are small amps. And when people come in with a Marshall stack, I wish I could help you. It's glorious. I have one.
The rigs have shrunk. The rigs have gotten smaller. My rig is a 1x12, a 15-watt Carvin head, and a Fractal AX8 pedal board or Helix.
I know how good it sounds. I know that you paid $3,000 for it. but I can't give you $1,000 for it because it will sit here forever. Everyone's going toward smaller, lighter gear. So, too many guitars in the market, too many people dumping their guitars too quickly, and a market trend of everyone getting smaller and lighter gear, and also people expecting to be able to sell their instrument themselves also creates an unrealistic expectation of its value. For example, if you went to trade in a car and you spent $30,000 on a car and you're trading for $3,000, you're like, oh, well, it's an old car. But a lot of people like to get their money back. They want, I gotta, like a guitar is a gold brick or something. They're like, I got $3,000 into this. I got to get it back. You don't always get your money back, and that's what I call the price of tuition. So there's now a disconnect between when I say to someone, okay, this is what one just sold for in Reverb, or Guitar Center has one on their site for this much, right? The Guitar Center will sell me one or anyone for $500. You think this is worth $700, and I have to look at the market prices, and then I have to pay less than that because I need to make money. So even if you are selling on consignment,
I don't care about that.
I just with consignments, especially during the pandemic, if it's a nice guitar, Martin or something, like, okay, well, ask whatever you want to ask for it.
So yeah, it's hard to sell guitars, right? Reverb will take a percentage of whatever it is you sold it for. And same with eBay. Your best bet selling guitars is selling on Marketplace and selling in person. And that's tough. That limits your how far you can, like the distance, it limits the area that you can sell, and obviously limits the number of people you can sell to. So I'm never planning on selling mine. I'm going to open up a guitar store someday in the future, and that's going to be the way it works. So yeah, okay, Gary, that's kind of going off on a tangent there about how the dealer gets involved and how you've got your markups and all that. We know about all that. We know how that works. So just overall, I kind of agree with Gary. A lot of guitars out there for sale. This is not a good time to be selling your guitar. Hang on to your guitar. If anything, if you have extra money, you're gonna find something cheap. I just saw a PRS SE like Paul's guitar type guitar for $400 on Marketplace, which is just, it's like half price right now. So people don't have money. In summary, thanks for watching. Gary Loves Guitars, watching Gary's guitars. Thanks for watching. Gary Loves Guitars, watching Gary's guitars. And something a little different in this video, just kind of a critique of someone else's video. Please like my video and subscribe to my channel. We got some more reviews coming up soon. Love you. Bye.